Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Division video. And in today's video, it is finally time. The embargo has just lifted, so let's talk about the PC version of the game. However, before I go any further, I need to make it very clear that for the majority of this video, the gameplay you're going to be seeing in the background is not PC footage. The reason for this is because while I was able to go hands-on with the PC version at the event in Malmo, I was not allowed to record it. So again, to reiterate, the gameplay you see in this video is Xbox One footage, not PC footage. That being said, two official 4K PC screenshots did just go live, and you can see them right here. They do look super impressive. I did have to do a double take on the first one, but these were officially released about 15 minutes ago and should give you a look at what the game looks like on PC in 4K with all the settings cranked up to max. But getting back on topic for a second, the purpose of this video is firstly so I can talk to you about some of the available PC options, as I know that some of the PC gamers out there are dying to know what graphics options you have, whether it supports dual monitors, etc. And then I'll also talk a little bit about my general impressions and how I felt the game ran on PC. So with that being said, if you do enjoy this video, then as always a like would be super appreciated, and let me know in the comments down below if you're going to be playing on PC. Now let's talk about options. First of all, the PC version allows for completely custom key bindings. So if you're playing on console, you'll of course be familiar with the fact that your actions are, for the most part, tied to a very particular set of buttons. On PC, it is entirely up to you. If you want to use the number keys to swap between weapons, that's up to you. Alternatively, if you want to bind it to say something like shift or tap, that is your call. Every single option can be completely remapped to suit your playstyle. And talking about suiting your playstyle, the game also features a wealth of UI customization options. You can pretty much move any of the UI elements to wherever you want in the game. So if, say, you wanted your map to be in the top right hand corner, as opposed to the top left, that's an option. If you want your level bar to be in the middle of the screen at the bottom, kind of like you get in some MMOs, that is also an option. Pretty much all of the UI elements you see in front of you can be moved to wherever you want them in game. And what's more, if you're playing on multiple monitors, then you can drag the map onto a second screen, if you really wanted to. And speaking of multiple monitors, yes, the Division does support multi-monitor play. In fact, it's not just dual monitors. While I was in Malmo testing out the PC version, I played the game on a triple monitor setup. Kind of like the ones you see for racing games where you have the left and the right screens at an angle so you can see everything in your peripheral vision. Yeah, that is how I played it, and it definitely gives you a whole new perspective on the game. But again, pair this with the custom UI and you can push all the stuff cluttering up your screen to the sides so that your primary screen front and center is completely and utterly clear. Another super cool thing about the PC version is that it also has text chat in addition to the VoIP chat that the devs talked about. So while you can quite easily make use of game and VoIP chat both in the open world and in the dark zone, text chat is also there should you need it. So that means you could type to people in the dark zone and say, hey, I'm friendly, don't shoot. Or alternatively, you could turn around and say, you better run because I'm about to take your stuff. Whatever it is, the option is there for you. And while we're talking about text chat, I guess a suitable segue would now be to talk about keyboard support. The Division also supports some LED keyboards with some pretty cool options. The one I used at the event was a Logitech keyboard, but you'll have things like, say if you're on low health, the button that is mapped to your medkit will then begin to flash to indicate that you should probably heal so you don't die. Or say for example you have a teammate that's in trouble. One thing you can do on the PC version is that you have dedicated keys for your respective teammates, and pressing them will make you face them. So if say good old Bronson, one of your teammates is dying, your player key for Bronson will start flashing to say that you should probably go over there and save him. There are loads of cool things like that, so they've definitely gone to town with the customization side of things. But now let's talk about graphics settings. Now I'm not going to go in depth and talk about each and every one because otherwise I would be here all day. Instead I've just made a mock-up menu that should list out some of the options you have available. I'll let them scroll up the screen right now while I talk about a few other things, and of course if you do want to pause the video and get a better look then feel free to do so. One final thing I did want to mention before I talk briefly about my impressions is that the game also supports Tobii eye tracking. I didn't actually get a chance to see exactly how this works, but it is another option in the menu that you can enable should you want to. Now, to those of you guys asking for minimum specs, I honestly didn't get a PC spec list. So while I can't tell you what the minimum requirements to run this are, what I can say is that the machine that I played it on had an i7, a single GTX 980 Ti, 16GB of RAM and a 250GB SSD. So those were the machines that we played on, but as for exactly how low you can go, I'm honestly not sure just yet. I will, however, be playing the beta next week on both Xbox One and PC, so I'll of course aim to have some more information for you guys then, alongside some nice PC footage. But for the time being, let me just wrap this up with a few quick impressions. As I'm sure you can imagine, the game looks absolutely amazing on PC. It runs super smooth. I know some people have made some comments about how the Xbox One version has a bit of screen tearing and occasionally experiences a few frame rate drops, but the PC version obviously doesn't have those issues. Playing it on 3 monitors is definitely something I never thought I'd do on a game like this, but it definitely gives you a whole new level of immersion, being able to look to your left and to your right, Although, to be honest, I think for me that just means there's more stuff for me to miss, so I think I'd prefer a single monitor setup myself, but of course, again, the option is there. I am, however, a massive fan of button mapping options because while I am primarily a console gamer and I do tend to prefer playing games like this with a controller, the freedom to bind things like weapons or quickly snap to, say, a teammate in trouble definitely made things a lot more streamlined. In fact, one of my favourite things was simply just swapping weapons. On console, if you want to swap between your primaries, you either have to hold down the Y button or the triangle button, whereas on PC you can simply hit the number. And of course, while there's not really much in it, there is of course that little bit of fluidity on the PC that you kind of don't get on the console. However, one of my main takeaways I got from this, and hear me out for a second because I appreciate when I start saying this, you're either going to say I'm blind or I'm a crazy person, but one of the main things that impressed me after stepping away from the PC version was actually how good the console versions still look. I appreciate there's talk of a downgrade, and yes, the footage you've seen is definitely not the same as that which you've seen in 2013, but if you take into account the fact that the footage I've been uploading was partly washed out due to kind of like messed up brightness settings, also it was captured at a lower bitrate and it was compressed on YouTube, the experience that you end up getting isn't 100% reflective of what you'll get while you're playing. And after seeing how good the PC version looked, then jumping back onto the console version, I was also still super impressed with how it looked on Xbox One. There is of course no denying that the PC version is the smoothest and the nicest looking version, but for console gamers out there, I think we still get a really solid, great looking experience. Again, I appreciate I'm probably going to get some shady comments for saying that, but hey, that is just my input. I will of course let you guys make your own mind up when you see it next week, but for the time being, that was just a super quick talk about the PC version, the options available, and a bit on how it ran. If you guys have any questions, then by all means let me know in the comments down below, and if you did enjoy this video, then again, a like would be super appreciated. Aside from that, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you tune in tomorrow again for another brand new Division video. Take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.